Shivaji, the rise of the Lion of Swarajya. Long ago, when the land of Bharat was divided by fear, when mighty empires clashed for power, and common people paid the price, forts stood tall on mountains, but hearts bent low under injustice. Villages slept with anxiety. Mothers prayed in silence. Fathers hid their pain behind tired eyes. This was a time when rulers fought for thrones, but few ruled for the people. And in those troubled times, among the misty hills and winding valleys of Maharashtra, a child was born. Not born into golden palaces, not born surrounded by comfort, but born into struggle, born into responsibility, born with a fire meant to awaken a nation. His name was Chhatrapati Shivaji Maharaj. This is not merely a tale of swords and battles. This is the story of courage over fear, wisdom over brute force, justice over tyranny. This is the story of Swarajya. Young Shivaji grew up in simplicity. The earth beneath his feet was his palace floor. The open sky was his ceiling. The hills were his playground. The forts were his classrooms. He ran along narrow mountain paths. He climbed steep stone steps. He observed soldiers guarding ancient walls. But the greatest education did not come from weapons. It came from words. His greatest teacher was his mother, Jijabai. Every evening, as lamps flickered softly, she spoke to him not as a queen, but as a mother shaping a leader. She did not tell him fairy tales. She told him stories of Rama, Krishna, and righteous kings. Stories where power bowed to dharma. Stories where courage protected the weak. She looked into his young eyes and said, "Power without justice is cruelty. A sword without purpose is destruction." She taught him that a king's true strength is not how much land he conquers, but how many lives he protects. Those words did not fade with time. They settled deep in Shivaji's heart, like seeds waiting to grow. As Shivaji grew older, his eyes opened wider. He saw farmers working endlessly, yet losing their harvest to heavy taxes. He saw villages burned, not because of rebellion, but because of power struggles. He saw women walking with fear, children growing up too fast, and elders losing hope. These sights troubled him deeply. Many young princes dreamed of luxury. Shivaji dreamed of relief for his people. Often, alone, he would ask himself, "How long should my people suffer? How long should fear rule their lives?" One evening, standing atop a mountain peak, the wind brushing against his face, he looked at the vast land below. Rivers flowing, fields stretching endlessly, villages glowing faintly at dusk. He whispered almost to himself, "This land deserves freedom." That whisper echoed in his heart. It grew stronger. It became a promise. And slowly, that promise turned into a roar. With a few trusted friends, young men who believed not in riches but in righteousness, Shivaji stood upon the soil of his homeland. They placed their hands on the earth, they closed their eyes, and Shivaji spoke, "I will build Swarajya, rule by the people, for the people. Not a kingdom of oppression, not a throne built on fear, but a land where justice ruled, where farmers slept peacefully, where women walked without fear, where faith was respected. He continued, not through cruelty, not through blind violence, but through courage guided by wisdom. This was not an easy path. They were few, their enemies were many, but conviction made them strong. Shivaji understood a hard truth. He could not defeat massive armies with strength alone, so he chose intelligence. He studied the land carefully. He learned every hill, every pass, every forest. He moved swiftly. He struck unexpectedly. He disappeared before the enemy could respond. The mountains became his allies. The forts became his shields. The night became his cover. His enemies had numbers. Shivaji had planning. They had heavy armies. Shivaji had speed. This method was not cowardice, it was wisdom. A lion does not fight blindly. It waits, it observes. Then it strikes with precision. Though a fierce warrior, Shivaji never forgot his values. He gave strict instructions to his soldiers: no harm to women, no destruction of places of worship, no cruelty to prisoners. Once, after a victorious campaign, his soldiers brought a noblewoman captive. The battlefield was silent. Shivaji looked at her, not as an enemy, but as a daughter of the land. He said firmly, "Send her back with respect. She is our mother." He ordered gifts and safe passage. That single act spread far and wide. From that day, his army followed him not out of fear, but devotion. His enemies feared his strategy. His people trusted his heart. Years passed. Struggles continued. Victories were earned. Losses were endured. Sacrifices were made. Finally, the historic day arrived. Shivaji was crowned Chhatrapati. The crown shimmered. The people gathered. Drums echoed across forts. But when the crown touched his head, Shivaji bowed before the people, and he said, "This throne belongs to Swarajya. I am only its servant." Not a ruler above them, but a guardian among them. As ruler, Shivaji reformed governance. Farmers were protected from injustice. Taxes were fair and regulated. Officials were held accountable. Justice was swift but compassionate. He believed a kingdom is strong only when its people feel safe. Under his rule, even the poorest felt dignity. Even the weakest felt protected. This was Swarajya in action. Years passed, battles slowed, but Shivaji's ideals only grew stronger. When his time came to leave the world, he did not leave behind fear. He left behind purpose. A nation awakened, a people united. A legacy carved not just in history, but in hearts. Today, centuries later, his forts still stand, his name still echoes, but his greatest monument is not stone or steel. It is the courage he planted in hearts. Remember, you don't need a crown to be a king. You need courage to stand for what is right, because true warriors never die. They live forever in the values they leave behind.